jump into this last topic real quick. And there's a lot of movement, or perceived movement, I should say, happening in the NFC. Aaron Rodgers, who knows what happens there, right? We talked about Kyler Murray. What a weird deal there, right?
Weird.
We're in the age now where social media plays such a factor in what's going on. And the fact that Kyler Murray scrubbed, or had somebody scrub his social media account and remove everything that was related to the Cardinals, strange, right? He's obviously unhappy. There's something going on there. That's not by coincidence. Who knows? Does he go back to baseball? Does he want to get traded? I don't know. I think we'll get that figured out. But there seems to be a lot of changes happening in the NFC, much like there is with the 49ers. I think the 49ers changes are good. I think the changes that possibly might happen around them are good. But how do you see these changes impacting the San Francisco 49ers?
Yeah, so the one team I'm not necessarily worried about getting much better this offseason is the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're either going to stay as is or they're going to press the reset button. I think that's their only two options. The team that I am worried about is Arizona. And initially, when I saw that Kyler Murray scrubbed everything off, my initial thought was, oh man, he must be upset. And that's the reason why he's doing all of that. Then I had Randon on my show last night, and he was like, well, what if it's that he heard that the Cardinals are shopping him to Green Bay to try to get Aaron Rodgers? And he heard about it through the grapevine and got upset. And that's why he did what he did, because him being upset came out of nowhere. They basically did everything for him, right? He's the coach that he likes is there. They got him talent all around him. The team has nobody says negative things about him in the organization. Everybody loves him. So for him to just all of a sudden be upset didn't make sense to me. But if he found out that, hey, they're shopping me to try to get an Aaron Rodgers. So basically what happened to Jimmy Garoppolo all those years with San Francisco might be happening with Kyler. And this is how somebody who doesn't have as much class as maybe Jimmy does would handle that. So this is what we would expect from somebody that's getting shopped. Like, I'm like, F you, I'm going to, scrub you if you guys don't want me. I don't want to be here either, kind of thing. And if that happens, because Kyler Murray plus whatever to get Aaron Rodgers, if I'm Green Bay, that might be the best I could get, because you get another quarterback that can be, the franchise level quarterback. Plus, if there's some picks involved in that and stuff like that, then you still have a quarterback that you could get behind versus what other people are just giving, potential type stuff. And if Aaron Rodgers went to Arizona, I think that makes them the favorite because of Aaron Rodgers and what they have. Aaron Rodgers and D-Hop would scare me to see that twice a year. And especially with the defense that they have over there. And, they already are tough out for us with Kyler. And if you upgrade to Aaron, that to me would be scary. So that's the only wrinkle that would scare me. But yeah, I still think the 49ers are going to contend very well. I think they have a really, really good team. They're already playing, in the toughest division in the league. So I don't expect it to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, but it could be where the 49ers could dominate if somehow Arizona and Seattle collapses, because there has to be a window with the Rams with how much they've invested. So the 49ers are one of those teams, like you've mentioned in previous shows, that have a lot of veteran presence, but mixed in with a lot of young contracts, up-and-coming players. So they're not as strapped as some of these other teams. So that's that. It's just what happens with Arizona, my man. That's where I'm really worried. If they get Aaron Rodgers, that's something different.
Yeah, that's that never even crossed my mind. That's an interesting take. There's a lot of people in the chat talking about the Titans and Aaron Rodgers. So I did a couple weeks back. I brought up the Titans as a dark horse for Aaron Rodgers, along with the Colts. I think both of those would be great destinations for him. It doesn't sound like the Titans will be able to pull it off. Sounds like they have something like a $50 million cap hit if they move off of Tannehill. You can't recover from that. That's just too much, especially when you're trying to bring back guys or re-sign guys like Henry. You can't really make that happen. So I doubt that happens. So don't worry too much about that. But Man, Rodgers to Arizona, that's interesting. And if I'm the Packers, I'm doing that in a heartbeat. Like if you're telling me I'm getting Kyler Murray for Aaron Rodgers, I got to do it. Like Rodgers is the better player. I don't think that there's a debate about that, but how much younger Kyler is and how good he is and how long you could have that for, man, I got to make that move. I absolutely have to. So
And
I
doesn't
don't
the
know.
response make more sense if it was something like that versus
It
he just
does.
all of a sudden become upset over
It does.
never hearing about it before?
Yeah, I mean it does for sure. Hmm, man, that's that's an
It's the
interesting
only
one.
thing that made sense because
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, I mean, he is somebody that has bad body language and stuff like that, but you've never heard anything negative come out of his mouth about the team. And as far as what they've done to build around him, any quarterback should be happy with it. I mean, they brought you in DeAndre Hopkins, they brought you in Green, they brought you in, studs on defense. And so for him to just all of a sudden be anti-Arizona, the only thing is, hey, they don't want me. That's the only response that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, these things happen, right? There are probably perceived or talked about trades all the time in the NFL that you just never hear about.
Mhm.
Maybe one made it to him. I don't know if it would necessarily be that, but it is interesting that he's kind of fallen in love with playing with Evans all of a sudden in Tampa. I don't know. Whole thing is very interesting. And he always struck me as a guy, again, I don't think he's a malcontent in any sort of fashion. I don't think there's any evidence to say that he's ever been that way. So the fact that this came out of nowhere is a bit strange, but I always did question his love for football. It seemed like baseball was it was obviously always an option for him. What what sport does he truly like better, right? Like he chose football, but that doesn't have to be a forever thing. Like maybe he really wants to try his hand at baseball. I don't know. Who knows what's going on there? Or maybe it's nothing and everybody's trying to make a big deal out of
Right.
it. And he's got a new team that's taken over for him. And they're like, hey, listen, we're gonna scrub, most of your team stuff off. We got brand deals for you that we're gonna fill. Well, who knows? Who knows what's going on? But it is a weird deal to
Right.
come out of nowhere. And it definitely there's something going on. How big, how small, I don't know.
Right. I mean, any brand, any team that comes in, if your first move is to unfollow the team that's paying you and potentially paying you, because he's looking probably at a, 35 to $40 million a year deal, right? He's the next guy up, technically, as far as caliber of player with, the quarterback pay constantly going up. You would think that this would be the stupidest move to make, to really just have this be what's surrounding you as far as news. So for me, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm sure if it comes out that this is nothing, it's probably because behind the scenes they figured something out. But there's no way that they could make me believe that he just thought this was a good move to just unfollow everybody that has to do with the Arizona Cardinals and think that that isn't gonna make waves because you're the franchise quarterback, right?
Yeah, somebody says Calorie Gorman. Is it Bishop Gorman or Gorman Bishop? Either way, it's funny. Very, very strong comment coming in there.